where the environmental laws, the marine mammal protection laws, endangered species laws have been able to be turned a blind eye to them, basically, while rubber stamping oil industry plans to go forward with drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. In his press conference yesterday, it was an unusual press conference for President Obama. First of all, he hasn't had a full one now in 10 months, but also he was remarkably defensive about what had occurred and said that there were major mistakes that had occurred. Do you feel that the administration is finally moving in the direction of trying to clean up the existing culture of coziness that existed between the Minerals Management Service and the oil industry from the Bush administration? Well, the steps that President Obama announced yesterday, as well as other steps to start to break up the Minerals Management Service and have the environmental oversight separate from the people who receive revenues from oil and gas industry, are steps in the right direction. Although I would say that they don't go far enough. And one of the things that we really need to do is have a complete halt, a moratorium to offshore oil and gas in Alaska, the Atlantic, and expanded areas in the Gulf of Mexico. And right now, all we have is a suspension for 6 months, which is an important first step, but we really need to take it all the way and really stop the drilling. On top of that, the problems with the Minerals Management Service really should have been addressed before we had such a catastrophic accident. And when Ken Salazar came into office, we already knew that we had a Minerals Management Service that was cozy with industry, had been involved in a scandal with having too cozy relationships with industry. And Ken Salazar came in and said, I'm the new sheriff in town, and I'm going to clean up this agency that's been, too much run by the oil industry. But yet in the year and a half, 2 years that we've had opportunity for reform in that agency, it really took something as disastrous as the Gulf of Mexico spill to start to implement those changes. And there's just really no excuse for that, and we really needed reform before then, and it was well known sooner than this.
What about the firing or the resignation of the head of the Mineral Management Service, Elizabeth Birnbaum, Miyoka Sakashita?
It would seem as though that is related to an agency that's just really been rife with corruptness and needs a complete overhaul from the top to the bottom. And those changes, we have yet to really see what true changes will come about. At first we heard, well, there's a moratorium on drilling, we're not moving forward, and then we've come to learn that that moratorium was very narrowly defined and projects were still being approved in the meantime. And so the announcement that we had yesterday, although we do hear some possibly positive steps that are coming from it, I would say the proof is in the pudding, and we still have yet to see what actual changes are implemented to make sure that we don't have another big disaster.
I want to ask you to stay with us. We have to break, and then we'll come back. We're speaking to Miyoka Sakashita, Oceans Director at Center for Biological Diversity, and Winona Howder, Executive Director of Food and Water Watch. In a moment, we're going to be joined by the Tucson Congress member, Raul Grijalva. He is co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. And then we're going to go to Houston, where we'll speak with Antonia Yuhas, well-known author and activist. She was arrested after questioning the CEO of Chevron at the annual shareholders meeting. Then we're going to be talking about what's happening in Jamaica. This is Democracy Now! Back in a minute.